For years, Corpus Christi's water future has depended on reservoirs west of the city. And as drought conditions deepened, an East Texas lake, once considered a secondary source, quietly transformed into the backbone of the coastal Bend's water supply.
Yeah, Bill Churchwell traveled to Lake Texana, showing us where most of the city's water now comes from, and the massive pipeline operating at max capacity to try to keep up with demand. This is part 2 of our Water Woes special series.
This reservoir near Edna has become the most important water source for the city of Corpus Christi. Lake Texana now provides over half of our current water supply, with millions of gallons traveling every single day through the Mary Rhodes Pipeline.
It's here where the water from your tap starts its journey, about 100 miles away from Corpus Christi at the Lake Texana intake facility.
It's a lot of water.
Patrick Brozowski oversees operations here for the Lavaca Navidad River Authority.
Around 72 million gallons. That's what we'll divert today, and that's every day.
The water moving through the Mary Rhodes system comes from both Lake Texana and the Lower Colorado River before it's sent south to the Owen Stevens Water Treatment Plant.
That's one of the things I've always applauded those predecessors who came before us, is the political will they had to see some of these things through.
The pipeline, named after former Mayor Mary Rhodes, who championed the project despite intense controversy more than 3 decades ago. Today, her vision has become a critical lifeline for the city.
Was it popular? Probably not. But at the end of the day, it was what was needed to supply and take care of the demand of the future.
For years, Corpus Christi relied mostly on Choke Canyon and Lake Corpus Christi, but with those reservoirs falling to historic lows, the city has grown more dependent on Lake Texana. At a community water meeting on Padre Island, Corpus Christi City Manager Peter Zanoni explained how the city was able to increase its supply by 22 million gallons a day.
Because of improvements that we did over a year ago on the Mary Rhodes Pipeline, we are bringing in about 70% of our water every day from East Texas.
But the system is already operating at or near its limit.
We're at pretty much max capacity with Lake Texana.
And Corpus Christi isn't the only customer, depending on the water source.
Corpus Christi is a great customer. They are one of our larger customers. Formosa Plastics is our largest customer, industry here in Calhoun County.
Earlier this year, Texana neared its own critical drought management plan that would have triggered at 50% capacity. Under LNRA rules, that would have forced water reductions for customers, including Corpus Christi.
Had it continued to drop below 50%, we had that little bit of insurance from Governor Abbott, which would have precluded any reduction until it got to 40%.
He said the impact on the city's water supply would have been significant, nearly 5 million gallons of water a day, but it wouldn't come to that. Spring rains quickly changed the outlook, pushing the lake from near 50% to almost 90% full in just weeks.
It doesn't take much rainfall to have an effect on the lake. On average, about 42 inches of rain.
He says that's the unique nature of Lake Texana, much smaller compared to Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon. While it can fill fast, it also makes the reservoir vulnerable.
It can decrease as rapidly as we increase.
So what about the lake's long-term sustainability? Can it continue to handle Corpus Christi's needs?
Texana, is it sustainable? At a reduced rate, sure. Without the Colorado, all that stress would be placed on little Lake Texana. It's almost unbearable under that maximum diversion rate.